Hey friends, it is time for a Shop My Stash video. I've said it before, sometimes you just feel like it's time, and I really don't think I've done one of these in a little bit here. So I went through my collection, I grabbed out things that I know I haven't used in a while, and we're gonna just put together a full face with that stuff. First things first is primer, e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. Don't know if it's the placement in my drawer or what the deal is, because I actually really like this stuff. And I think it probably should be more popular than it is, just for the masses. I love the way it goes on, and I don't know why it's not even more buzzed about than the gripping primer stuff. It goes on smooth, there's a glide. It's just a beautiful thing. Maybe I need to put it on some little pedestal here on my table so I won't forget about it. Here's something that hasn't been used in a good long while, the IT Cosmetics CC Plus Illumination. And yes, this is a big tube, and I have it in medium, and I thought, well, maybe that'll match me right now anyway. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna dab it around. I gave myself pretty much a full pump. And I would say I've always enjoyed the IT Cosmetics CC products. I just feel like I don't reach for them that often. Even like the couple I do have that are in the shade light that match me a little better for maybe the majority of the year, still don't reach for them that often. Look at this coverage. Whew. That illumination's got the little glow in there. And I think at one time I thought it was way glowier, but that was before there were so many other glowy products out there. You know, all the like Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter types of things, and different glowy tinted moisturizers. Now I feel like, okay, yeah, this is glowy, but I've tried some things that go even harder than this. I did not get a great night's sleep last night. I don't know what it was. I usually don't wake up hardly at all, and I was waking up a couple different times. And then ultimately, when it was time to get up, I'm like, no, I need a little extra sleep. Like I was all in the mood to sleep then, and ended up giving myself a little extra time, which was probably for the best. Here's this. My skin's looking smooth. I was kind of curious as to how the poreless primer with the illumination on top would do. I was kind of hoping for the look of flawlessness, you know, in terms of texture. It looks good. I'm using my e.l.f. Duo complexion brush, by the way. Then a concealer that I absolutely love but haven't used in a bit, my Tarte Shape Tape Blur. I'm gonna have to look up in past videos what shade I said I was, because it's like 20B maybe. But I love the way this stuff glides on. Really, really easy, smooth, creamy, but yet excellent coverage. Sometimes we think we always have to get one of those full coverage doe foot applicator concealers to really get covered. And this stuff covers very well too, while being really soft and just easy to swipe on. I'm gonna take my little end of my brush and just kind of blend around a bit. See how nice that is? It's so perfecting. It really is kind of blurring, as the name says. Anybody else tried and loved that concealer? Yes, so I got a little brightness around, and then I can tap in with the larger end of my brush. It's just a stippling motion. Oh, so good. These products so far have come together to give my skin a really nice looking texture, you know? A real good smoothness. e.l.f. primer, and we did the illumination, now the blurring concealer. Okay, we're 3 for 3 right now. Good decisions, random products. And then for a little powder, I thought, what about this one from Catrice, that under eye brightener setting powder? Shade is Light Rose. Feels like there's nothing in the little container. It's so lightweight. But a lot has unexpectedly shaken out. So let's just grab some with the little powder puff. Dab it up on the under eye. I don't remember being crazy about this stuff, but hopefully she can do a good job for us today. Last night for dinner, I made a good old-fashioned kid fave, buttered noodles. Something about those egg noodles. What do you add to buttered noodles? I literally just do butter, salt, and Parmesan cheese. Bill's like, that's my favorite food. I'm getting around like the lines, any lines around the mouth, the nose, up in here. Then this is how you really know what your powder is done. You go back through with a brush and you just kind of say, hey, you're blending out. I'm feeling like I look a little drier up on the under eye, but it's not bad actually. It could do better, but it could have done worse. And then for a little all over powder, I grabbed this one from Bobbi Brown. Remember the vitamin enriched pressed powder? I have it in the shade Natural. It had this kind of like woven look in there. They had a tinted moisturizer as well in this range. I like the texture of this powder. I'm gonna double check and see if it's still available. Yes, it's still a thing. I just looked at Ulta's website, but they only have a few colors on there. There may be other retailers where they've got a better selection. But I'm just gonna take this all over. The shade is pretty good for me right now. That looks nice. I like what that's doing for the how did I just throw my brush? I like what it's doing on the surface of my skin. It's a really good, like, soft feeling powder, but not soft to the point that it's turning into powder foundation. I should be throwing that stuff on more. That just feels good. My skin feels set enough right now. Then for some bronzer, I was looking around for just anything that felt really underused, and I got this Essence Baby Got Bronze, just this little short stick. The shade is Cinnamon Spice, and I thought, let's give it another shot, you know? We just came off of a big Essence video, but I wasn't even thinking about this stuff. So, it has kind of a fruity scent to the stick. And I think it'll be deep enough to have an impact. Let's use our Sephora 56 and just blend her on in. Going across my skin, it felt like a little more stiff and dry compared to some of the sticks I really, really like. But giving a good enough look there, I think. It's Biddy. Hi, hon. How'd you sleep? Good. I think I might have just gotten some bronzer on you. See you soon. Love you. I would say that did a nice natural job. Feeling like I should blend here just a little bit more. I don't know. I think it's looking pretty good. And I'm not super dewy because I didn't pull out like another bronzer to set anything with, but texture on my skin is still okay. And then this ABH stick. I remember one of you guys recommending this to me, the Stick Blush in Latte. I really like this. I just haven't really thought about it in a while. It's a soft color, but it's super pretty. So give myself a swipe. It does have that attached brush on the other end, which I'm not mega into, just because it feels so much smaller than my Sephora 56, but just showing you, it's there. I'm taking the 56. It's soft and just pretty. And I chose a blush like this because I'm gonna have some fun with the eyes today. So I'm going with a little more muted cheek and lip. That's my plan. I feel like this blush could stand to come down just a little bit more though. A little more apple. It's okay. It's okay to do that. I can appreciate a soft blush. I didn't grab out a highlighter and I think I will. I've got some dimension, but it's fairly matte really. Remember Laura Geller's Gilded Honey? Yep, I still got that. This particular highlighter was kind of a sensation for Laura Geller on social media. It obviously goes a lot harder than her baked French vanilla stuff does, but I'm just using it softly because I really kind of like what's going on with the look of my skin right now, but I could just use a little more sheen. A little bit up here. See how it's kind of goldeny, soft gold? That'll do. For brows, let's use the Make Up For Ever Aqua Resist Brow Definer. Good skinny pencil option, medium brown. Oops, always take off the wrong cap. And I do get really stuck on the fact that the drugstore skinny pencils are like just as good as the high-end skinny pencils, and I really do believe that. But it kind of leads me to not use a few of my higher-end pencils just because I feel like I've kind of made my mind up about that. But we can still get use out of them and appreciate them. See that laid down well? You can brush them on through. Boop. I love just hearing those birds out there in the morning. We've got a lot of trees behind our house and around our house, and I'm thankful for that. The wildlife that's just hanging out. I mean, on Sunday afternoon, there's a deer just hanging out at the top of the hill. Just laying there. God, isn't that great? Now, as I was talking, my mind wasn't really locked in on what I was doing with this brow, and I actually think it turned out better than usual. Yes, good job, left brow. And then for a little gel, I haven't used my e.l.f. laminating gel in a little while. That wants to come out with a lot of like white goop, but it really does hold well. And they do arm you with an additional little brush on the other end. But you can stand those puppies up with this thing. Yeah. And then, boop, here's your stiff brush or comb. I think it's a pretty good brow day. And this is the eye palette I pulled out. I've barely used this thing. Python Code from Morphe, one of their 6-pan palettes. Let's get an up-close look here. We've got some green shimmer, we've got gold, and we've got 2 mattes, which are the cream and the real dark brown. And I just think it would be fun to play with this today. I'm gonna use an eye primer. I will go with my Profusion one. If we're just shopping our stash and jumping around here, Pigment Base Eyeshadow Primer in Neutral. I feel like I need to sneeze, but the sneeze doesn't want to come out. So this is one of those real like opaque eye primers, and I think for every day I don't always feel like I need to have that much going on. But that's what we're using today, and I'm just kind of tapping it up, shearing it out, I would say, as it comes to the crease. But can you tell? That is one blanked out eyelid. A little bit over here. Here's a question. Do radio DJs these days, do they actually choose some of the songs that are on the radio, or do they just play like a pre-programmed list? Is everything on shuffle is my question, or are they picking some of the stuff? For example, the radio station I listen to claims to have a no repeat work week. A no repeat work week. So like if the DJ does choose some songs, they'd have to be careful about that. They'd have to know like, oh, this has already been played within the no repeat work week. How does that work? I also don't actually know what I'm going to put in my crease here. Do I just start with darkness? Maybe I start with dark and then just start layering in some color. Maybe a little dark brown. Okay, we're just gonna have to start there. Morphe M303 brush. Just gonna start patting that on the outside, and it's okay to start with your darkest. And I'm flipping my brush, as you can see, so I'm having some shadow, excuse me, hit that crease. Okay. It's applied, but it's not like really exactly how I want it. So I'm going to take my Profusion small pointed brush with the same shade and just kind of blend it a little more in that crease zone. Yeah. So I just kind of added in, kind of got in a zone there, sorry, and blend it around with a smaller brush, so I felt like I had more control. And now I'm taking my crease brush and trying to soften. This makes me feel like, yeah, I've got a little more of a starting point. I wonder what some of this kind of bronzy color might even look like. Kind of blending on the edge. Getting like a little soft sheen, maybe. I don't know. We're here to play. We're here to have fun. We're not here to do everything perfectly all the time. All right. Cleaning off brush. Going to this, the lightest matte, and that can come straight under the brow. Here I kind of feel like, all right, I got a little bit of a canvas upon which to add the splashes of color. This shade feels untouched. I know I used some of this when I was first using, kind of assessing this palette, but what about this guy here? Let's pick some up. Ooh, it is just really shiny. It's shifting. I'm picking up a little bit different vibe when it's not totally hitting the light. So these are the kinds of shades like when you get one of the trios, there were a couple of mattes and then they'd stick in one shade of this texture. Look at that. Ooh. I just kind of coated up the whole inner part of my lid with it. I hope I didn't overtake my outer corner too much. I might need to come in with a little more. It's kind of fun how light and minty it is. I mean, talk about shop my stash. Like, this is just not a look, not a shadow color I've worked in any time recently. I just keep dabbing and building. You could also go very gold with this palette because look, there's that, very like yellowy gold. I just feel like I lost a little darkness, particularly on this side, on the outside. So I think I just need a little more brown to tap in here. Because really, you might be thinking, oh, but don't take away too much of that color, M. But I believe that the darkness sets off the color more. So it being there side by side and deepening it up a little bit, it's a good thing. Fun look, different look for me. Different tones. If we're really going to be shopping the stash, then we're going to pull out some eyeliner because I don't always use eyeliner every day. I grabbed this green from L'Oreal, the Infallible Grip Liner. Shade is Emerald Green. Feeling a little bit dry, but I thought it might be pretty just along that upper lash line at least. It swatched on my hand okay, but it's not wanting to draw over that shadow real easy. But can you see? It looks good. Okay, got that little greenish. That really added to the color here. I mean, it was almost like standing in for the green of that shade. I just needed the precision along the lash line. And maybe we could smudge a little down here too. And I know these liners are nice and long wearing, these Infallible Grip. There is a smudgy tip. So yeah, that's nice. I got some things to do today. I would like the liner to stay where it was put. Guys, it's peach season in Southern Illinois. Mom and Dad and the kids have been out to the orchard 2 times already. My kids just are loving those peaches. Southern Illinois is actually kind of known for its peaches. I remember when I lived back in West Central Illinois, where I grew up, and sorry, I feel like I need a little powder boop over here. There wasn't much I knew about Southern Illinois besides the fact that people who lived where I did would sometimes travel down here to get the peaches. It's time for mascara, friends, and I am not keeping a lot on hand that I'm not using regularly, but Bad Gal Bang, maybe it's been a little while for that, so let's do it. Ooh, I just really like this eye look. The liner actually made it come alive for me. I hope you guys can see that I've got this nice, like, not actually super thin line, but it's thinner than what a shadow stick would give me. I was hearing a makeup artist say on TikTok recently that she would just take mascaras that were brand new and kind of just leave them screwed open, like not fully twisted in, for like a few hours to actually get to that place where they would build nicely. And I thought, yeah, there's a lot of people who don't love a mascara as soon as they buy it. I'm building a little bit right away because I know this one can take it. Then I'll probably come back and add more. Bad Gal Bang is not a tubing mascara, but I would say it's a pretty good long wearing mascara. I've never had problems with it flaking off, smudging and stuff. That being said, I will still do a tubing mascara on the lower lashes. But I hope this video encourages you that, like, you can wear color. Color can be fun. I felt like I got all the enjoyment of using some color, but it's not like ultra loud, you know? It still feels really just easy and, I don't know, approachable, not too intense. Sometimes it's just having that one little shade that pops among your familiar mattes. And lower lash line is going to be e.l.f. Lash Extender. Always using this, so not a legit shop my stash item, but that's okay. Little fringe. And then for lips, I thought, how about we pull out one of these ColourPop Ultra Blotted lips and just kind of refresh our memory on these. Zuma is the shade I have, and I thought it might just work with the blush and with the greenish eye. It's almost like soft terracotta. But yeah, you put these on and you almost think liquid lipstick vibes, but then you realize, oh no, they're really kind of light as air. I think that does give me kind of a blotted lip idea. Like, picture that going on with more shine and being like a cream lipstick, and then you went boop and now you're left with this. I like that color along with everything. So friends, thanks for joining me for a little shop my stash moment. What were some of the highlights? I love this liquid putty poreless primer, so I'm kind of inspired to dig that out some more, as well as my Tarte Shape Tape Blur Stick Concealer, another excellent product. The Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Powder kind of excited me all over again, and this Morphe 6-pan palette, I would say, you know, good. I enjoy using these palettes, but more than anything, it just kind of made me think, like, why not pull out color more often? Even if it's just like one shade that just pops a little, it's still satisfying and fun. Yeah, I think those are kind of my top ones. Oh, and the L'Oreal eyeliner, the green liner. Green liner is fun. And you know one thing I'm seeing? in my little camera monitor, I can see that there's a little gap right over here. I thought I did so good on the brows today, but I just see a little gap. Okay, thanks for being here today, my friends, and I will see you all again very, very soon. I love you. Bye.